The entire battlefield froze in shock as the giant stone overseer got destroyed in a single hit. The enemy army panicked, unable to understand how Shadow could use an attack when the abyssal domain was supposed to block every skill. The foreign invaders screamed that he had to be hacking to pull off something so ridiculous. Shadow, however, stayed perfectly calm, satisfied that his planned strike had taken down Huang Ziking instantly. The trick was simple but brilliant. Our boy had charged his instant shadow slash inside his cosmic trial space, and the moment the move began, he dropped out of that realm, letting the fully charged attack land in the game world and skip the skill silence completely. Since he had already predicted Ziking's hiding spot, he erased him on the spot and removed the movement slow. And even if the hit had missed, the dash would have still carried him safely into the enemy lines. Better yet, spending just 10 points of divinity let Shadow pull anyone he killed straight into his trial space, and with over 1,000 points left, every enemy death only fed his power. Looking at the stunned enemies around him, Shadow felt nothing but contempt. To him, all these arrogant guild leaders and invaders were just stepping stones. High above, Kibi clapped happily, honestly amazed that Blue Star's top player had tripled his strength in such a short time. But he also admitted that letting Shadow grow any stronger would be a huge threat, so he decided it was time to end the battle. He pushed his hand into his own chest, dark veins spread across his body, and a massive storm of black feathers swallowed the blood-red sky. Zentiel and Ziking celebrated, thrilled that the death-winged angel was finally getting serious, though Ziking still complained that the boss had taken too long to step in. Meanwhile, Kibi curled into a pulsing red sphere as his health bar dropped at crazy speed. Shadow read the pattern right away. The angel was burning his own life to fuel a massive attack. With almost no intel on the boss's ultimate moves, Shadow knew better than to face it head-on. A boss using a self-damaging skill at that exact moment had to be hiding a deadly trap. So instead of waiting, Shadow flashed across the battlefield in the blink of an eye. He appeared in front of a stunned Zentiel, grabbed Huang Ziking by the skull, and crushed him before the red light could even land. Right on cue, Kibi's ultimate skill, Death Then Rebirth, exploded across the city. By sacrificing his entire life bar, the angel released a giant soul shockwave 1 kilometer wide, and anyone killed inside it faced absolute, permanent death. The blinding red blast tore through the battlefield, instantly wiping out Song Xiaoyu, Zentiel, and every nearby player while stealing their souls to feed the boss. Thousands of erased souls got pulled into the vortex, their stolen life force merging into one overwhelming source of power. From the edge of the ruins, Wang Meng and Captain Anyu watched the explosion swallow the city center, and Wang Meng ordered the whole squad to pull back. If the blast collected enough souls, the angel would trigger a complete rebirth, break through its limits, and step onto the path of godhood. And that's exactly what happened. Emerging from the light, the boss evolved into a level 50 legendary monster, the Light-Winged Angel. Spreading pure white wings, it celebrated its breakthrough, believing Blue Star's #1 player had been killed in the blast and trapped forever inside its body. But the celebration died instantly. Across the smoking ruins, the angel spotted the level 99 executioner of slaughter still standing on the rubble. Horror hit the angel. The mythic executioner only stayed on the field if its target was still alive, which meant Shadow had survived an unavoidable, soul-erasing explosion. The only explanation was a spatial ability, something exclusive to mythical primordial grade skills. The idea that a human had mastered primordial power in less than a month terrified the angel, who realized that staying on Blue Star for one more second was suicide. In pure panic, it tore open a huge dimensional rift, admitted this world could no longer be controlled, and ran off into the cosmos as the system confirmed the boss had left the realm. When the smoke cleared, a massive crater sat where the battlefield used to be. Wang Meng and Little Black wondered what kind of terrifying explosion could wipe out the entire enemy army in a single breath. Little Black spotted the mythic executioner in the center and realized the whole setup had been an ambush by the American invaders to assassinate Shadow. But no one could find any trace of our boy. Fearing the worst, she and Wang Meng burst into tears, terrified that Great Sia's strongest fighter was gone. In reality, Shadow was completely fine, standing calmly inside his cosmic trial realm. While down in its endless maze, a trapped Huang Ziking screamed for revenge. Shadow radioed Captain Anyu for a status report, and the moment she heard his voice, she cried with pure joy, shouting to the team that he was alive, leaving our boy a little confused by the emotional breakdown. She explained that the city center had been blown into a giant pit, the angel had evolved and left the realm, and every enemy player had vanished permanently without respawning. Putting the pieces together, Shadow understood the blast had been a sacrifice skill built to feed the angel enough souls to force its evolution. Even so, he wasn't worried. Thanks to Big Eye's intel, he knew a legendary great angel could be summoned back with a specific item, and he fully planned to settle the score for the strike against Osiris. Down in the trial space, Ziking hung nailed to a stone pillar, desperately trying to activate his abyssal domain, only to find that none of his skills worked there. Shadow announced that sinner Huang Ziking's judgment had officially begun.